Hey guys, what's up? It's Zyflin here, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how to farm Garuda. Now, to get Garuda's blueprint, you're going to get that after you complete the Vox Solaris quest, which is the quest that you get from Yuriko over here the first time you visit Fortuna. And then to farm Garuda's parts, you got to do the bounties that Yuriko offers. So if I can actually press bounties instead of the offerings, you can see that the uncommon reward on the tier 3 bounty, the level 20 to 40, is the neuroptics. And then on the tier 2, level 10 to 30 is the systems. And then on the level 15, or 5 to 15, you have the Garuda chassis blueprints. That's the first one, okay? So we just have to keep on doing these bounties over and over and over again in hopes that we get the parts. Every single stage of a bounty that you complete, you have a chance of getting the part that you want, right? And then if you complete all of the bonus challenges here in the Orvalis, right, whenever you're doing these bounties, then you're going to have the chance at the end to get 2 rewards instead of 1, which is, of course, not further increasing your chances, but giving you another roll at that drop table, right? So what I'm going to do in today's video is show you guys how to do these bounties in a very, very efficient and effective way, using the Warframe Mesa with a very minimalistic loadout, basically the barrier to entry loadout, like the bare minimum that you would need, okay? So if we go ahead, we pause the game, we go to equipment, we go to arsenal, and then we take a look at our Mesa Warframe. Now, I do have a guide on how to get Mesa. Go check that out. Get your hands on Mesa. And then I want you guys to copy this build right here. Now, this is very much so a beginner build. Not everything is maxed out, and you can, of course, improve on this build, but generally, you want to have at least 120% power strength on Mesa. That's rounded up because you need 119% to get the 95% damage reduction on Shatter Shield. And then you want to invest the rest into duration. And if you really wanted to, you could invest a little bit into range for the crowd control on her second ability. But the idea behind it is to have at least 190% power strength and then as much power duration as possible. So then you have that 95% damage reduction for as long as possible without having the recast, right? So energy siphon on here to regen your energy, streamline for efficiency, constitution for more duration, narrow-minded for duration, continuity for duration, intensify for that power strength, so you hit that 119 or above, vitality for health, fleeing expertise for efficiency, flow for more energy because you have Peacemaker on there, which is going to drain a shit ton of your energy. If we go ahead and we hover over, you can see that this drains 3.75 energy per second, and this is actually as low as it can go, and you reach that by combining efficiency plus duration, so that's why you have a lot of duration and efficiency on this build. And then that is pretty much that. The majority of the damage from your Peacemaker is going to come from the mods you have equipped to the Peacemakers rather than the amount of power strength that you have on this build, right? So if we go ahead and we take a look at that, we can see that I have on here Hornet Strike for damage. And again, you can use the regular version or the upgraded version of Hornet Strike to get more damage out of this. Gunslinger for fire rate because that's going to increase your DPS. Pistol Gambit for critical chance if you have the prime version for that on. Target Cracker for critical damage. Why am I stuttering so much? Target Cracker for critical damage, so then you can, of course, deal more damage. And then an elemental combo. I'm using Radiation because there's a few enemies within the Corpus faction that are going to take more damage from Radiation. So this is the bare minimum, minimalistic type of build that you'd run on your Regulators. And then on the rest of my equipment, I've got the Heck, the Atomos, and the Redeemer. Basically the same loadout that I've been using throughout this entire How to Get series. This is, in my opinion, the holy trinity of weapons to use, just because they are pretty effective from the get-go, honestly. So on the Heck, I've got Point Blank for damage, Hell's Chamber for multi-shot, Scattered Justice for multi-shot, Elemental Combo, Charge Shell, and Incendiary Coat for radiation, Contagious Red for toxin. That's a load of damage there. Moving on to the Atomos. It's very You can, of course, make it better by throwing on more elemental mods and whatnot, but the idea behind it is gas damage. If you have the 60-60... what's it called? Pistol Pestilence mod, Bathroom Rounds. Let's go ahead and actually throw that on just because, you know, I would expect you to have that by now if you're farming for Garuda, I guess, because you get that from visiting the Void. Pistol Pestilence, here you go. So what's going to happen here is Bathroom Rounds and Heated Charge is going to give you gas damage, and the idea behind having gas damage on your build is to constantly be reapplying the gas status effect to deal more DPS. So the higher you can get your status chance and all that jazz, higher you can get your damage and whatnot, then the better. So throwing on Barrel of Fusion, throwing on Lethal Torrent. Let's go ahead and throw on Lethal Torrent as well, because I would expect you to play Nightmare Missions to get this here up to this point too. Then this is going to be a pretty good weapon just for dealing with those corpus units that have shield and health, right? Armored enemies, not so much, but shield and health enemies are going to die pretty quickly to the Atomos, okay? Redeemer, pretty much the same thing. Pressure point for your melee damage, Fury for attack speed, Volcanic Edge, Shock and Touch, Fever Strike. So Volcanic Edge and Shock and Touch is going to give you radiation, Toxin for toxin damage, or Fever Strike for toxin damage, and then Molten Impact for more radiation damage, and that is pretty much it. Stance doesn't matter too much because you're just going to be using that as a charge attack, right? A charge attack weapon. Only other things that I can recommend is in your gear having energy pads equipped and having an Arcwing launcher equipped. If you don't have an Arcwing launcher, K-Drive works too, but energy pads are nice if you haven't completed the second Dream of War event to have Zeneric to have Energizing Dash, right? So I'm not going to be spoiling exactly what that is, but I will be using it in this video. So it's a slight spoiler, but I'll be using it pretty quickly that you won't see it, right? And I'll try to not use it as much. So if we go ahead and we grab a bounty, I almost went in there without grabbing a bounty. Okay, there we go. We'll just grab the hardest tier so I can show you that you can do the hardest tier without having to, or with this loadout rather. What happens whenever you go in here as well is you don't have to come back into Fortuna to get another bounty again. You can just talk to this boy over here and he will give you the bounties, right? So you want to jump into your Arcwing or your K-Drive. I have it bound to a keybind, so I don't have to bring up the gear wheel, right? We got to kill 25 enemies. So what we're going to be doing is just going around areas in the map that have a lot of enemies, right? And that big blue thing is what simplifies the enemies spawning in. What you can do is you can raise your wanted level if you look there beside the minimap. You raise that wanted level by letting the enemies put the little spikes in the ground. And then that there one right there. More enemies will spawn in and the enemies level will get a lot higher. So I don't think we have to stay around here to do this bounty, but it's just the Moas that we have to kill, I think. This is enemies killed, but it's got the symbol of the Moa. So I'm just assuming. I'm not too sure. Run around and kill bad guys, put it that way. These bounties are going to change every single time you do them. So you're not going to get the exact same things as I am. So just be aware of that if you're jumping into this for the first time. I'm going to put my Shadow Shield back up. You see we have a 42-second duration in that Shadow Shield. That's 95% damage reduction, and damage is reflected back at the enemies, right? So, okay. Can I kill this guy? Okay, cool. Awesome. They died. So a Peacemaker, you're jumping into the air, pressing 4, and then holding down left click, just whenever looking at the enemies, and then they die pretty quickly. So the Heck should be a one-shot kill, especially with all the mods that I showed you. If you have those equipped, it should be pretty decent. So let's see if we actually have to kill Moas or if we can just kill any enemy. We do actually have to kill Moas. Okay. So we gotta wait for more Moas to spawn in. There's another one. So you're kind of at the mercy of the Moas spawning in for you, unfortunately. Which can kind of be a pain in the butt. I think that the Orvalis bounties are not the best designed. Let them put that little thing down so you get more frequent spawns. There's another Moa. We need one more. And then we're good to go. Okay, awesome. So we got a Matter-Eye lens. That was cool. And we also completed the challenge as well. So have a chance to get in that bonus at the end. I'm going to fly around a little bit. Wait for the next bounty to pop up. Locate the Corpus Camp. So this one over here, we have to be capturing containers. So we're going to be defending these containers from the enemies, not letting them get onto that. So we're going to be using Peacemaker a lot to make sure that the enemies don't get to them. And we're going to be standing beside them for as long as possible. So this is one of the containers right here. We just stand beside it, let it be captured. And if that one starts to glow red, we're going to hop up in the Peacemaker and we're going to just kill the enemies that are near it. That's kind of the general idea. So if you stand between the two, you can do 2 at a time. And if you have spoiler mode, then you can jump into that and use that to capture one. So you leave your Warframe 1 and then use spoiler mode to capture the other. You should know what I'm talking about whenever I say spoiler mode if you've got that far into the game. So I did use just a tiny bit back there, and if you are eager to spoil it for yourself, then, you know, you can do so. But I did say at the beginning of the video that there would be spoilers. Well, a little bit. Trying to keep it minimalistic, but Energizing Dash is just, it's so good. You can't not want to use it. So there we go. None of the enemies captured. We got that bonus, and you can see the conditions for the bonuses in the left-hand side of the screen as well. So waiting for our third. Productivity. Locate the drone. Okay, this is the drone over here. Want to destroy that. Kill the enemies around it. Let it reboot. And we're just going to be defending this drone and killing enemies that are near it to complete this bounty. We don't want it to take any health damage. It says bonus, no damage taken, and that means health damage. The shield damage is fine. You just don't want it to take any health damage. Because if it takes health damage, if you think about it, it's actually damaging the drone. But if it's taking shield damage, then it's damaging the shield, right? So that's the thing. These guys spawn in. Killed that drone over there. That was on the hill. I didn't think I was going to be able to reach that with Peacemaker, but turns out I did. Just hang around the drone, and then enemies will spawn in around it. And you just use Peacemaker to gun them down. Of course, you can use other frames to do this. You're not just limited to Mesa, but Mesa just makes bounties on both the planes of Eidolon and Orvalis just extremely easy. You have the damage buff in your 2, you've got the damage reduction on your 3, and then you've got the damage dealing on your 4, which is basically, you know, Holy Trinity. Your 1, you don't use it much, but, you know, 3 out of 4 on a Warframe's kit is great. There we go. We got the bonus done. And we completed that bounty, which was Epic Games. Just waiting for it to finish. There we go. Cool. So that's our third bounty done with the third bonus completed, which is great. Now you guys gotta wait for the last one, which is hopefully gonna be an easy one. Hopefully. Fly around a little bit. What bounty are we gonna get? Reach the secure area. Okay, so this is just basically like a miniature spy mission. Chances are I'm going to make a fool of myself here, but let's hope I don't. I'm just going to go ahead and fly on in. Bye-bye, Eximus enemy. And we just want to avoid the enemies in here. Should be pretty easy. You don't want to be detected, or, yeah, you don't want to get detected in this, because you get detected whenever you hack this console, then it is bonus go bye-bye. And these spy missions are a little bit finicky in my opinion, because there's those cameras, and sometimes they can detect you even though they're not actually looking at you. So uh-oh. Kill that guy. Was there a guy behind me? There was. Kill him. And that guy, he's dead. Just make sure that they die so they don't hack any consoles and trigger the alarms on you. Doesn't matter if you're using a live weapon or anything. Octavia might be a good choice for here as well. So you hack that console and then you jump into the middle, and then you go ahead and hack this, and then you're done. So that's you and the bonus. So we got the Meso and Free Relic, and then we get our bonus. Waiting for it, waiting for it, waiting for it. And then we got another reward, right? So you want to try to get that bonus every single time, because if you do, then you're just going to have more rules to get in the Garuda part that you needed. I actually did run before this, and I got the neuroptics on my bonus, which was, you know, unfortunate that I wasn't recording then. But you know, you get the gist of it. Just really just use your vehicles to get around faster. Itzel is the Archwing you should be using, and then using the first ability to blink around. And obviously, if you have energy pads, you can use that to restore the energy of the Itzel while you're getting around, and it'll be a lot faster. Just make sure to, what's it called, keybind it. I had mine on 6 if I had any. I just haven't crafted any because I haven't been playing that much recently, but that's basically how you do it. You don't necessarily need the Atomos, but there's the damage of the Atomos. It's pretty dope. And yeah, once you're done, you can head on back to this spoil that I showed you at the start of the video, talk to him, and then restart the bounty and keep on farming for all your Garuda parts. So yeah, if you enjoyed the video, go ahead, hit that like button below. Go to your foundry once you get all the parts, craft them, and then, you know, put them together to make Garuda. A lot of the resources that you need for Garuda come from Fortuna, and I'll make videos later covering how to get all the resources, because very specific places that you have to go to get the resources, such as farming toroids from all the different, what's it called? Stations, research stations here. So that's a thing, and then fishing resources and whatnot. So it's a little bit complicated, but I'll make videos later on, and maybe in beginner guides that'll cover all that stuff. So anyway, guys, thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button below. The amount of times that I've stuttered in this video is ridiculous. Subscribe for more Warframe content, and I'll see you guys in the next one.